experience that like for them?
Like, we've been on this journey of, it started off as efficiencies. It wasn't automation, probably didn't exist. And sometimes you look back and say, why didn't we do this then? Well, we didn't have all the bits. So this is like a jigsaw that's constantly evolving. There's new shapes and new pieces coming all the time, and you put them together and the picture starts forming, and then it doesn't, and you keep moving it around. So one of the big things that's happened to us in the last probably year is we started using Herefish, which is, originally we took it on as a candidate marketing product. We then went through a stage of using it for business development, and a bit like, the HubSpots and Marketos of the world, but we're using Herefish to do that. And Jason, we used to drive him mad going, why can't you do this for contacts, not just also candidates? And, what do you mean? So suddenly now he's standing up selling that it does sales for you. So, I like to think I was involved in that a little bit. But one of the big things we were, okay. So one of the big things from our perspective was we had a process. Now, we called it a framework, because recruitment isn't a black and white. It's not a manufacturing process. Every candidate's different, every call's different, every job's different. So what we did was we gave people different kind of gates that they had to go through, but they could decide how they got to the next gate. So think of a slalom skier. You can go this way or this way. That was how we saw recruitment. Now, one of the big things was when you called someone, so we'd identify a list of candidates who were suitable, you'd call that person, and if you didn't get them, we'd send them a text, and we would send them an email following up. And we were looking at saying, this was taking, firstly, we were forgetting to do it because the call would ring, but the majority of calls, we were leaving voicemails. And, you talk to guys, and they picked up the phone 60 or 70 times that day, and they talked to nobody. And they were fit to hit the bottle. They were like you. They were buying beer on the way home and drinking it because this was a horrible job. You can only so many times saying, hi, it's Brian from Allen Recruitment, before you've had enough. So one of the things we did was we started using Herefish to send those follow-ups. And then we actually thought about it and said, why don't we send them first, right? So we went, hang on. So what we did was we'd identify a shortlist when we set up a job, because with the best will in the world as a recruiter, I get an offer or something happens, that's my day gone. I'm suddenly focused on that. And the people I'm trying to contact have just disappeared off my radar. So what we said is, no. As soon as you get the list, stick in all of these people and add them into Herefish, and that's what we called it. So literally we built a process for each recruiter. They added a note in Bullhorn saying, Herefish this guy, please. And what would happen at that point is a text and an email would go out to the guy every day for the next 4 or 5 days. So we didn't bombard them totally. So the first one was a text, and the first conversation was, are you looking for a new job? Yes or no? And it was literally like that. And people would come back and say no. And that was 50% of the, if you had 100 people you were targeting, we just got rid of 50% of them. That was 50 voicemails, right, that we were leaving that have just disappeared. Then the second thing we came along and we did was the second message. So you get a follow-up email, so a text one part of the day, an email, just in case they didn't see it or forgot about it. Then the next day was, are you interested in this job? So if it was a Java developer or marketing manager, are you interested in a marketing manager job? And some of them would come back and say, no, I'm a marketing director. Now, the data we'd worked off was basically that he was a marketing manager. Guess what? We now know he's a marketing director. But guess what? He didn't say he wasn't looking. Right, so let's write that down. So we'd update the general candidate comments in Bullhorn. That information was there. So next time we came across him, he's looking for a director role. Hang on, that's what I have. We just found a guy, right? So keeping the information, keeping it going all the time is really important. The third one, which is kind of unusual in recruitment, we told them who the client was. Would you like to work for Google? Would you like to work for Facebook? Or whatever the name of the company is. And guess what? People come back and say, actually, I'd love to work for Google, but I don't want that job. This is what I'm interested in. So guess what? Now we have a guy who wants to work for Google that we can talk to. So all along, we're collecting people who may be looking for a job. Again, think back to what we used to do. So you and I are on this call at the moment. So if a recruiter rings you now, you probably got your phone turned off, or at least I hope you have, and he says, hey, Rob, a fabulous new job. I want to talk to you, blah, blah. And you say, oh, that's great. Cool, right? So this call is over. You listen to your voicemail. You ring the guy back. He's a recruiter. Well, where is he? He's on the phone leaving the next voicemail, right? So straight away, that, you're leaving a voicemail for him. It's back and forth and back and forth. And then you both give up. And that fabulous opportunity is just missed. So what we now do is when we get the job in, we add the 100, we add them into Herefish. So over a week, they start to get these texts and emails. So people will come back to you. But the bit that kind of made all of that, pulled it all together and changed how we do things, was we use Calendly. So it was actually, I think Jason was using it, or the guys in Herefish, you were using it. And I went, what's this thing? What's this? So what we then did was we got Calendly and we stuck it in to each of the texts and each of the emails and says, book a time when suits you to talk to me. Okay. So think back to a year ago or 2 years ago, or what a lot of other people are doing. You're making 50 calls a day, 60 calls a day, getting to talk to 2 or 3 people, or the ones you do get to talk to, they don't want to talk to you. Now today, my guys walk in, well, tomorrow's Good Friday, so we're not working tomorrow, but come Tuesday, their diary is full of people who want to talk to them and who are available to talk to them at that time. So the texts and emails are prompted, the guy picks his time. So 3:30, on Tuesday, we have a call with this guy, because guess what? He's going to nip out and get a coffee. Now he's working from home because of COVID, so we can talk to them all anyway, so it's great, right? But the reality is that he can actually pick when suits him. He gets the reminders, it does all of that. My guys walk in, there's no stress. The brilliant thing is they now can work from home when they want. They can work the hours they want. So literally they make their diary available. It starts at 10 and it finishes at 7, right? Or it starts at 7 and finishes at 3. So depending on what's going on in their lives, they can work in around it. Like, what other recruiter can do that?